Looking for these better days.
It is Monday, June 29th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. The World Cup is in the round of 32. We already have one team that advanced to the round of 16. We'll preview the matchups coming up. We have a playoff today at the Travelers, and Major League Baseball heating up as it heads towards the All-Star break. Jake Hassan joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. Jake, last night we saw Sonny Gray for the Red Sox on Sunday Night Baseball carry a no-hitter into the 8th inning against the New York Yankees in a game where it's really the epitome, or as Sincere on Love Island would say, epitome of what it's like betting Major League Baseball. And full disclosure, I'll be honest, I don't never shy away from losses. It's been a terrible betting season for me in Major League Baseball. But when you have the under 8 in a game between the Yankees and the Red Sox where Sonny Gray is throwing a no-hitter into the 8th inning and it's a 2-0 ball game, and you lose that under 8 because the game goes to extra innings and it winds up being a 5-4 Red Sox walk-off victory, what do you do? Like, I mean, I can't explain it. Like, it just, that's baseball, Susan. Like, that's what happens. But it just, there's a lot of issues. First, just your reaction to what we saw last night, and then we'll get into the issues surrounding the New York Yankees.
I mean, it's not even that's baseball, Susan. That's betting, Susan. Like, that's just sometimes that's the way it goes. Similar to you, Scott, I had a buddy text me tonight during that game, and I'm watching, he's watching. Obviously, you were watching it as well. And I had a buddy text me, I stared at the cash out on the Yankees money line so hard, and I didn't do it. I said, that's betting, Susan. Like, you let it ride. Like, I'm team never cash out. I'm team let it ride. I said, I get it. Like, I feel your pain, but I think that's baseball. That's betting, baby. And you sometimes you take the lows with the highs, as it were. I mean, from what I take from that game, listen, it's very clear that Sonny Gray is not going to be part of this Red Sox team much longer. This is a team that's going nowhere fast. They have no business holding on to players like that contribute to their team and playoff caliber players when you're going to have teams calling for especially arms. We know what an arms race is. The MLB trade deadline is year after year. Sonny Gray, we thought he was washed in St. Louis. He gets shipped to Boston for peanuts, and now the Red Sox should theoretically make out like bandits on him. That was my biggest takeaway, is he is really rising his stock in the trade market right now.
And since he came back from that hamstring injury, he's like 8-0 for the Red Sox with an ERA that is approaching 2. So unbelievable stretch run it has been here for Sonny Gray. For the New York Yankees, last night just magnified, what has been their problem. This is a lineup without Aaron Judge, without Giancarlo Stanton, without Trent Grisham. On the season, they're the second best offense in Major League Baseball. You look at weighted runs created, they're number 2. In the month of June, though, they were 21st in all of baseball. And if you just isolate the past week, they're 28th out of 30 teams in Major League Baseball in weighted runs created. This is a bad offense right now.
The Yankees, Scott, every time I look at this team, and I know they're favored for the American League, they're second favorites for the World Series, but every time I look at this team, it makes me want to bet somebody else in the futures market. The problem is the American League is a crapshoot. Like, the second favorite in the American League is the Mariners, and they're not even leading their own division. So I'm thinking, like, where do we go here? The Rays have been a nice story, but I'm not sure I fully buy them. I want to believe in the Texas Rangers so badly. Plus 950 right now on FanDuel to win the American League. But Wyatt Langford goes down with injury today. And right when you get Corey Seager back, those two guys can never stay healthy. So I don't know what to do with the American League. Maybe it's as simple as it's just the Yankees. But I feel like if we really want to get frisky and look down the board here, it might be an opportunity to take a shot in the American League with another team.
Well, the thing that scares me, and I've said this to you before, is when the Yankees go into the playoffs with a healthy 4 starters being – and Rodon looked great yesterday, but if it's Max Fried, Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, and Cam Schlittler, like, how are you betting against that rotation? And if they bolster the bullpen, and it could just be by putting starters in the bullpen. Will Warren could be in the bullpen. Weathers could be in the bullpen. Clark Schmidt returning from the IL could be in the bullpen. You never know how they address this from the inside, or if they go out and acquire a big name reliever. That's just a scary proposition when you think about a healthy Yankee team at the end of the season. Now, if the season ended today, the Yankees are not just not the division winners, but they're like the 4 seed in
Yeah.
the so the Yankees are a game behind the Tampa Bay Rays right now, atop the American League East standings. Also, what's very interesting in the standings, and this is a team that I've been talking about ad nauseum. I'm sure people are very tired of me talking about this team, but the Philadelphia Phillies are now 3 games back of the Braves in the National League East. Come from behind victory against the Mets yesterday, and this team now, if you and let's look at the odds up on FanDuel. The Braves minus 195, the Phillies plus 150. This, I think, is as short as we've seen the Phillies to win the National League East right now, and I still think it's worth a buy.
Yeah, I think in the way that the Braves are kind of falling apart here, the Braves have not looked good lately. In the last couple of weeks, really, they've stumbled a lot and have really concerned me a bit. The thing is, with the Braves, I think they're just a little too talented because the Phillies, here's the problem with the Phillies is that they have all of that talent, and Kyle Schwarber is on pace to hit 60 home runs, but also set the single season strikeout record as a hitter, not a pitcher, by the way. Bryce Harper's playing like an MVP again. I don't have a ton of faith in a Don Mattingly led team to really get over the finish line. I think that's where my hesitation is. Honestly, Scott, if I was looking at the NL East, can I interest anybody in the Miami Marlins?
No,
Can I get
no,
anybody on board
no,
here? Like, come
no,
on.
no.
This team's playing really good baseball. I was on them in the beginning of the year. I think this lineup has the juice, especially with Kyle Stowers back. I I know they're playing really good and they're probably peaking right now, but I think if the Braves are going to continue to slide here, this division, if we're going to get nutty, that's all I'm saying. I think this could get nutty just because the Phillies are a team of geriatrics. If the Braves are going to continue to be injured, I just think things could get weird here.
Kyle Schwarber, first big leaguer to reach 30 home runs this season, as he homered yesterday in the victory against the New York Mets. Schwarber up on FanDuel 45-1 to win the National League Most Valuable Player Award. Shohei Ohtani is minus 2,500. It's just, we're going to have to
That's
start
it.
betting. We're going to have to start creating, like in golf, the winner without market,
Yep.
because
Yeah.
Ohtani's the MVP every single season. Like if he just continues to hit as one of the best hitters in baseball and pitches like one of the top pitchers in baseball, he's the MVP every single season. Give me the MVP without market, and then I'll bet Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, I had somebody ask me this the other day. Oh, should we take a piece of Schwarber? Is there any value, hashtag value in Schwarber? And the answer is no. And the odds tell you that. It was a fun, and I said this, Scott, when I was talking to this person, that it's the annual conversation. We get to the end of June, we get to around the All-Star break, people get bored and they say, well, should we start trying to poke holes in Shohei Ohtani's case? No! Why would you try to do that? He started the year slow as a batter and just put up a 1.5 ERA as a pitcher instead. And now, oh, by the way, his batting average is back in the 290s and he's at about 20 home runs. He's at 17 right now. So it's just, why are we doing this? I think it's fun to take long shots early in the year in case somebody does something crazy. I had a ticket on Ellie De La Cruz in case he stole 70 bases and hit 40 home runs. That's obviously not going to happen. But this is the annual thing. People get bored. I think you're right, Scott. We need to start having a market where it's winner without Shohei. It's like when Scotty Scheffler, who's in a playoff, is at the height of his powers. When it was the height of Scotty Scheffler's run, we had those markets of winner without Scheffler. We got to start doing that with Ohtani because it's the only way that this is going to be fun to bet going forward.
What a stretch run he's in right now, of course. And you mentioned the stats on the mound this year, where he has a 1.58 ERA. Is that where Otani's at right now?
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, is that it? Is that good? Like, I don't know. What does high score mean? Did I break it? Yeah, 1.58 ERA for Shohei Ohtani in 79 and 2/3 innings pitched. Let's take a quick look at the schedule for tonight in Major League Baseball. Any of these games jump off the page to you as interesting? White Sox and Orioles begin the series. Pirates and the aforementioned Phillies. Rangers are at the Guardians. Tigers at the Yankees. Mets are at the Blue Jays. Nationals at the Red Sox. Reds at the Brewers. Padres at the Cubs. Twins at the Astros, Marlins at the Rockies, Angels at the Mariners, Dodgers at the A's, Giants at the Diamondbacks. So it's a rare full Monday slate because it is, 4th of July weekend coming up and everyone's going to be playing on 4th of July. So you have to set the schedule accordingly with the series, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all that stuff. So anything that you like here tonight on the schedule?
Yeah, there's a couple things. The top two games on the board jump out to me. And I've been on this train for a little while now. Anytime you're going to give me the White Sox at plus
As a
money,
dog? Yeah.
I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to bet it. You're going to give me the White Sox at plus 110 right now against Shane Baz and the Orioles, who have been both, as a player and as a team, a major disappointment. I'm just going to take that. And the White Sox coming off a bounce back now where they have to avenge themselves after a weird loss to the Royals. So you're going to give me plus money on the White Sox at any point this season going forward. I'm just going to take that. And I can't believe we're making Aaron Nola a minus 120 favorite in the year of our Lord 2026. Has anyone been paying attention to the season that Braxton Ashcraft is having for the Pirates? He's been unbelievable. And now the Pirates with Connor Griffin back in the lineup, who he's been unbelievable in the couple of games since he's been back off the injured list. They've been great too. So you get them at minus 106 right now on the money line as dogs, still minus money dogs, but still, I think about 15 cents of value there on the Pirates. I think those are both two very wrong lines on those game-to-game lines as well. And then same thing, similar, Scott. Shota Imanaga is a minus 162 favorite. It's 2026. Are we serious? Like, I know the Padres haven't even announced a starter yet, but come on, like, it's just as a rule. How is anybody laying that kind of price with Shota Imanaga? I think that's way wrong as well.
All right, let's transition. You teased it earlier. We do have a playoff today at the Travelers Championship, a sudden death playoff between Scotty Scheffler and Victor Hovland. Yesterday's final round was delayed due to rain. They resumed it, and it's actually going to be the first time we have Monday golf since last year's PGA Championship. Current odds up on FanDuel: Scheffler minus 145. Hovland plus 120. And if you recall, when we had David Behrman on the pod last week, we talked about all the outright bets and the top 5, top 10 bets. And our final conclusion was Scotty Scheffler's going on the card because you're always going to put Scotty on the card. And we talked about how this course could be one where he could put up a monster number, which is in fact what he did, 21 under par. So Scheffler is the favorite going into this playoff here, which should begin about 9 a.m. Eastern time.
The biggest stage in world soccer is here, and every goal changes everything. And now FanDuel is giving you a reason to root for every single one. Introducing Every Goal Pays. Bet on a match and get bonus bets for every goal scored in that match. That's right, more goals means more bonus bets, and all you have to do is turn on your token. From the opening whistle to the final kick, let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/believe to get started now. 21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with the Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DC, Kentucky, and Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY New York. Call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana.
All right, let's transition and let's talk about the World Cup, Jake, because we are in the round of 32, where we already have a team that has advanced to the round of 16. Canada gets a stoppage time goal to defeat South Africa yesterday, 1-0. So we did not go into extra time and we did not go into penalties, but that is something that could very easily happen here in the round of 32. Here are your matches for today with your current odds up on FanDuel. Curious, Jake, if you have any leans or any action on these matches. Brazil takes on Japan. Now, these bets, okay, that I'm about to give you, or these lines I'm about to give you up on FanDuel, are to qualify for the next round. So this includes extra time and penalties. This is just the odds to bet the team to advance to the next round. Now, you can obviously go within a game and bet the three-way line. Will it be a 90-minute draw? Will one team win in 90 minutes? All that fun stuff. But here are your odds up on FanDuel to advance. Brazil minus 330, Japan plus 250. Germany versus Paraguay. Germany minus 850. Paraguay plus 550. Netherlands against Morocco. The Netherlands minus 166. Morocco plus 136. Those are your three matches for today.
I don't. The thing is, I'm just gonna think, and I've seen this. We've probably all seen this on Twitter, Scott. Of everybody, and it sounds so simple when you put it like, just bet the star players to score goals. It's just like you see these people on Twitter saying, just bet the star players to score goals, and it feels like so simple, and so we overthink these things, but they hit, and that's part of what I'm thinking here is where I look at some of these games and I think of goal scorer and I'm just going through and looking at these star players, and I'm thinking those are the ways that I think we have to go. But I'm also looking, and I was looking at the futures market earlier, Scott. Like France is your favorite, but they're still 3-1. But everybody on this team just scores multiple goals, and they have the best player in the tournament, Mbappe. Like, should we just be betting this? It's still 32 teams left, but at 3-1, I'm thinking every time I watch this France team, they're just so clearly far and away the better team, and they have multiple guys scoring multiple goals. That's just all I think about with this team. I listen. If I think that obviously you have these big favorites, you have a minus 850 on the board for today. These lines are as sharp as they are for a reason. I do feel like maybe we should be betting regulation draw, because I just feel like in the group stage we just kept seeing draw after draw after draw. And is there any reason to really think that that won't continue? Maybe that's a way to play this, is in regulation, play some draws.
Well, here's the numbers, and this is courtesy of John Ewing from MGM, who tweeted this out yesterday. After the group stage, favorites 46 wins, underdogs 6 wins, draws 20. Betting $100 on the draw on every match won $2,100, $2,100. Overs were 38 and 34. Both teams to score happened in 39 of 72 matches, so 54%. So, yes, the draws was extremely profitable. Will it be profitable here in the round the 32, the knockout round? So, you're betting on a game to go to extra time. Hey, it almost happened yesterday, but Canada, with the late goal, did not allow that to happen. So they get the goal in stoppage time. So we'll see if one of these games today does go into extra time. It is a fun time for us, Jake, up on betterday.com, because we are we're about to be in football mode. We're doing all our preparations for everything. Our app is going to be launching very, very soon. Keep an eye out for that. We'll make an announcement as well. The app is for Better Day Insider and Premium members. We'll have another announcement about those subscription tiers, which are changing as well. All the incredible tools that we have up on betterday.com will be available on the Better Day mobile app. But I've started to do some football projects. I mean, we've been working behind the scenes on a lot of football projects, not just the Trench Report. We have some tendency things that we've been working on, and I put together actually a Trench Report strength of schedule for the upcoming season, which I think is extremely valuable. It's going to help us to place our futures bets. I already placed some futures bets, including one of my favorite futures bets on comeback player of the year. How much football prep have you done already? Do you have a little teaser that you want to give us, something that you've been working on? Maybe something that'll be featured up on betterday.com soon in the summer. What are you working on over there?
Yeah, we've started to get to that time. People have started talking about win totals, obviously, and doing their week by weeks. I always Scott. I always like to look at awards. I'm a big awards person. People who've been following my MLB content know that. But I always like taking a gander at fewest wins in the NFL too. Just looking for a team that could truly bottom out. And there's a 50-1 that's calling my name a little bit in the fewest wins market. So that's going to be something we're going to have up, because it's interesting, and I really I think it's going to be way live at a certain point.
So is this going by, do you go by strength of schedule? Do you go by just the sheer talent on the team? Like, how are you evaluating who you think is going to be the worst team in the NFL? Is it, a tanking situation because they want a quarterback? Like, what's your process of elimination like?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to circle the teams like the Cardinals or the Dolphins, who are right
Yeah.
now at the top of the board for fewest wins because they're going to be tanking for those top quarterbacks, like you
Yeah.
said. But I like to look at teams that maybe their quarterback situation is a little unstable. They have a quarterback battle that's two really mediocre guys, and you're just like, oh, okay, sure, I guess. So that's what I like to look at. I like to, we used to call people that I've talked to before, we called it the bottom out potential, where a team could just really, everything could really go wrong here and they could hit rock bottom. And there's a certain team in the NFC North that I think could really bottom out because they got two quarterbacks and I'm not really sure either of them are any good.
That's hilarious. Here's what I can tell you. I'm not gonna give you the futures bet now because I will be, giving that out up on betterday.com to Better Day Insider and premium members, just like you are as well. But I can tell you, I'll tease you with some of the analysis from the Trench Report power ratings, if you will. Would you like to hear some of that?
I would love it.
Okay. So here's what I've found based on now. What I did was everyone knows our trench report last year was incredibly successful. If you have not been following our trench report, well, last year, here's the data. Okay. I thought in the off, and I'll explain how it all started, Jake. In the off season last year, when I was doing stuff for the VSiN NFL betting guide, I was trying to come up with my futures bets. And I thought of what if I was trying to think of what angles I can come up with that might be valuable to place like a long shot future on based on something that no one's really thinking about. And I was thinking about defensive player of the year. And everyone's going to pick Myles Garrett, right? Everyone's going to pick, the sexy name. Okay. And I said, well, can I find value in somebody else on the board, which I also did this year? But can I find value in somebody else on the board by looking at something that no one's looking at? And what I did was I went through every team's offensive line, specifically the offensive tackles, because those are the guys that are blocking the edge rushers. And I went through all the gradings and I did my own composite gradings, all the next gen stats and everything. And I came up with a list of a power rating of offensive tackles in the NFL. And then I compared it to the NFL schedule. And I found that last year, the San Francisco 49ers were slated to go up against the weakest graded offensive tackles in the NFL. So my bet was Nick Bosa to be the defensive player of the year. Now he gets hurt. That bet's gone. Whatever. It's over with. But that was the birth of the trench report. Because then going into the regular season, I felt, well, forget about just the tackles. What if I do the whole offensive line grade and then I could do a defensive line grade and I could see if the game truly is won in the trenches or if this is just noise and this is BS. Well, I tracked it for the first couple of weeks of the season. And then starting in week 5, as you guys know, you've been following along with the podcast and on the website, I started publishing the trench report. In week 5, I started publishing the top 5 mismatches of the week. Those games went 51-19 straight up. So most of those were favorites, obviously, but we did have 13 outright underdog wins. And I always say the trench report doesn't care about the spread because it's just telling you who has the edge in the offensive and defensive lines. And then something clicked in me. I said, there is a way to bet the spreads here. And it's by looking at the games that I think are the closest in the trenches and taking the points with the dogs in those games. So starting in week 8, we published the top 3 closest matchups in the trench report. And if you blindly just took the underdogs in those games, you went 20, 12, and 1 against the spread with 12 outright wins. So an extremely profitable trench report last year. So what did I do for this year? We have our final rankings of every team's trenches from last year. I obviously had to make some adjustments because Myles Garrett's not on the Cleveland Browns anymore. There's roster turnover and things like that. But here's what I did. I did a strength of schedule for the upcoming season. Now I'm going to give you some teasers here, Jake. And if any of these trigger a response from you, maybe you're thinking about, that could be something I might want to look into. You let me know. All right, here it is. The list of teams this year that face the most difficult schedule against the pass rush. The San Francisco 49ers, Carolina Panthers, Washington Commanders, Arizona Cardinals, and the Las Vegas Raiders. The teams that face the easiest schedule against the pass rush: the Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns, Atlanta Falcons, Miami Dolphins, Denver Broncos. Anything jump off to you?
I mean, for the Broncos, that's helpful with a quarterback coming off of one leg and a catastrophic injury. The Panthers one jumps out to me a little bit too, because last season we kind of saw is Bryce Young, is this the step forward that we finally saw? And now he's going to go against a difficult pass rush, at least at this moment in time. That's really interesting, because I feel like the Panthers are a team some people have circled as a potential breakout candidate. So that could be an interesting angle to take, is fading them potentially. So the Panthers and the Broncos stand out there to me for sure.
How about run defense? The most difficult run defense schedule this year: Vegas, Chargers, Cincy, Buffalo, and Carolina. The easiest run defense schedule, and this is not based on your offensive line, this is only based on the opponent's quality: Detroit, Minnesota, New Orleans, Philadelphia, and Washington. Anything there on the running aspect?
I mean, I think it's Carolina again. It sounds like they don't have they're going to have a tough time of it this year, which then this is how my brain works, brings me back to the worst record market and think, okay, maybe there's something here where we have to start thinking about some stuff, because they're further down the board as well. That's what jumps to me, is maybe a Carolina team that, quote, broke out last year, depending on how loose your terminology for breakout is, or definition of breakout is. But that's interesting, where maybe Carolina's a team we have to fade again this year.
So you heard Carolina pop up in both areas of the difficulties. You might have also heard the Minnesota Vikings pop up in both areas of easiness. And so I will leave you with this as we close out this episode of Better Day. The Minnesota Vikings will be better than what people think.
Okay.
Now, we might have some things attached to that statement. We might not.
Stipulations.
We will let you know where we are at soon. Don't forget, you can follow us across all your social media platforms. Coming up a little bit later on this week, Wednesdays and Fridays. Well, we'll see what you guys are doing this week for 4th of July weekend, but I'm sure you will have at least one episode this week of Off the Board. Jake Hassan and Colby Margio streaming live on the Better Day YouTube and Twitter page. You want to make sure that you are following there. And yes, we do have a football show planned for this football season, which will also be live streamed on YouTube. So you want to go ahead and follow Better Day on YouTube. We'll make an announcement on that show as we get closer and closer to the fall. But we're excited about everything that we are building for you guys up here on Better Day. For Jake Hassan, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.